Today, we're going to try and roast coffee in helium. Now, you probably have questions such as how or why. Let me answer the why first. A little while back, I made a video deep frying green coffee to roast it, and the results tasted way better than they were supposed to. And there were some theories as to why that was. Someone said that maybe it's because deep frying in oil was effectively deep frying in an oxygen-free environment. Maybe no oxygen in the roasting process changed the roasting chemistry. And then someone else sent a different message saying maybe it's just because oil is more conductive. It did a better job transferring the energy. You didn't have to sort of have the oil as hot. And that way you had a more even roast as a result. And tagged onto this email was a lovely little fact. They said, did you know that helium gas is way more thermally conductive than air? I didn't know that. Who knows that? But sparked a thought. I wanted to roast in helium. Was that even possible? And that's what brought me here. I'm in a company in France called Hoffmann, who very kindly hosted us here, and they build glove boxes. You've probably seen them in movies. You know, they have terrifying things inside that scientists are handling very carefully. They've lent us two today, and Ikawa have kindly lent us two of their roasters to put inside them. And we can fill one of the glove boxes with nitrogen to have a zero oxygen environment that should act in a very similar way to air, and then they flush the other with pure helium. And we're going to roast inside them, see what happens, see if it makes any difference at all. Honestly, I have no idea. Let me show you a little bit more about how the whole experiment is designed. So this is a glove box. Hoffmann build them for everything from the medical industry through to the nuclear industry. It is a hermetically sealed metal box inside the stuff that you want to handle, that you want to keep separate from yourself. Anyway, this is ours. This is our first one. It is full of nitrogen, an inert gas, most of our atmosphere, but there is zero oxygen in here. There's actually a little display telling me there is no oxygen. And we've got some samples of raw coffee, and we're going to roast them. Now, the stressful bit of this, the bit that keeps me up at night, is that these take 24 hours to set up. If something goes wrong and we have to get into this glove box, the experiment is over. We can't reset it because it takes too long. We've only got a few hours here to do this test. It's time to try and get my gloves on and roast some coffee. Oh, it's like trying to put on a washing up glove underwater. Fortunately, here we go. We can power the roaster inside the box, which is here. These are my samples. So I'm gonna fire up the roaster, start it heating. I'm gonna load some green coffee into the top chamber here, and when it's time to roast, we'll roast. You probably can't see this, it says preheating. Once we are heated, all I have to do is turn this to, oh, hello. All I have to, strange things happening in here. I think the heat is potentially adding to the pressure inside this chamber, which is a variable again, which is slightly terrifying. Okay, we're ready to roast. Here we go, it's time to go. It's so weird that I can't hear it. It is roasting. It has begun. I don't know if we're going to get any weird effects from the nitrogen. I would presume not. The twist might be that this is a pressurized environment now, which may make things different. I just don't know. I just don't know. Now the roaster's hopefully going to adapt to whatever challenges it has to sort of hit the temperatures that it needs to hit. I'm so close to dressed in gloves. Come on now. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. Oh. Ugh. Dear, they've got to have baby powder here somewhere. I'm exhausted. As it gets to the end of the roast, it will stop heating and it'll blow a bunch of cold air through the coffee to cool it down. Yeah, you can see a little smoke coming out the top of the roaster. So in theory, we might have a little bit of potential for smoke taint in a second batch. It's hard to say. So what we have here is going to be potentially one of the first batches of purely zero oxygen roasted coffee. I know people have done low oxygen patents, but I don't think anyone's done zero or whatever we're at here, which is close to zero. There it is. Roast number one is done. Let's do another roast just to be sure. Things that were once simple are not simple when you're wearing enormous washing up gloves. For safety. Like putting your glasses back up or doing your hair. Ready to roast. On we go. Goodbye coffee, I wish you the best of luck. So this roast is tracking almost identically to the previous one, which, when we come to do blind tasting later, should be useful. Batch number 2. All right, I feel like we've had 2 successful roasts in nitrogen. it's probably time for the main event. This should be exciting enough, but the next thing is so much more interesting. This is our helium glove box. This has been flushed, ready to go. It's only got one glass side, so forgive me for the kind of awkward pressing of myself to the glass. The interesting thing about helium is that it is 5 times more thermally conductive than air. That should change the way the coffee roasts, but we don't know how. At the end of this first roast, we may need to adjust the profile if it roasts really dark or does something weird, but there's only one way to find out. It begins. The roaster is not running. Interesting. Terrifying, stressful, nothing's working. The fan is just not blowing. So there's 2 possibilities. One, we have an unfortunately broken roaster, which is terrible news because we can't break the seal and reflush it at any time soon. Or that no roaster will work in helium. It's not it's not a thing you test for when you're manufacturing roasters. That will it run in helium, pure helium? But it's on, like parts of it are working. There's light, it's powering on, but just one bit says no. And I can't imagine that the blower can't work. I just don't know what's going on. So I thought the roaster was broken. It wasn't broken. I'm just an idiot. And a lot of you watching this at this point will be like, yeah, of course this was never going to work. Helium is way less dense than air. How could you blow helium and expect it to churn and move coffee when it's like 1/10 of the density of air, or around there, I think. Yeah, so that's probably not going to work. I don't know if we can get away with that. I'm going to try an experimental thing just before we give up completely, where I've got maybe 10 grams in the roaster. And I'm hoping that if I run the fan at full bore, we can maybe still roast some coffee, but it may just not work at all. It's a long way to come for failure, but that's okay. Tiny amount of coffee in. Oh, we've got some tiny amount of movement. It might work. It might work. I mean, it's roasting now. Like, something's happening. This will be brown coffee that we can drink at the end of this. So as speculated, the gap between the sort of the heater temp and the coffee temp is way lower to achieve the same kind of rate of rise, or thermal transfer, I suppose, for better terms. So the theory is sound, just some flaws in the initial experimental design. So we'll roast again one more time after this, another tiny amount. See if it goes better this time. We're done. Okay, can it push the coffee out if we push eject? Can you do it? Come on now. Come on now. The answer is no. I have to do it by hand, okay? That actually doesn't look like a bad roast. I mean, there's not a lot there, but that looks like a drinkable roast of coffee. I'm going to try it again, see if we can do a better job. We roast it. We got some spin. Come on. I might have put too much coffee in this time. There might be too much coffee in there. It's hard to keep this family friendly right now, gotta tell you. It's already burnt one side of some of them. This is terrible. I think I stop. I'm not wasting time and energy. Okay, 3rd time. Please spin for me. Come on now. There you go. We got some spinning. Who knew that seeing coffee spin would be this relieving to anyone? I'm sort of stunned we've pulled this off. I thought when it stopped running, when the fan didn't blow, I thought we were done. I thought we had just failed and this would be an embarrassing day for me. But it's not. It's not. I can't wait to drink this. Even if it's disgusting, it will be a world first. Not that world firsts are necessarily sensible or good things. I know that. I know that there's a reason no one's done this before now. I really would like to take these gloves off now. I've got to be honest with you. Just look, it's like they're vacuum pressed to my fingers. I don't like it. We can peel the gloves off now that we're done. Feels much easier. Let's pass out the success. Ooh, it smells pretty good. It smells, no, it does. It smells pretty good in that. Right. Come on. 3 samples. Success. Let me show you this. This is what failure looks like. It's a collection of failed experiments. Now, perhaps against the odds, I have my coffee in my bag ready to take home to taste. On the way home, there's a short ad for this video sponsor, which is Surfshark. Surfshark is a versatile, easy-to-use VPN service jam-packed full of features, and with one account, you can install it on unlimited devices.
And now that I'm traveling again a little bit more, I'm reminded of how useful a VPN can be. I can be anywhere in the world and have my laptop appear as if it's back in the UK. That's very useful for things like geo-restricted sites or content, things like banking, all the way through to streaming services. And of course, using the same thing, you can unlock geo-restricted content within those streaming services. Surfshark also adds a layer of privacy to your browsing online, and they have a strict no-logs policy. In addition, if you want to take things further, Surfshark have some useful add-ons, such as Surfshark Alert, and that will notify you if your personal data, even credit card data, has been leaked in a data breach. Surfshark is available on every platform, from Windows, Mac, Linux, iOS, Android, so you can install it on every single one of your devices. For more information, click the link in the description down below, and you can get 83% off and 3 months extra for free using promo code James Hoffmann. And there is, of course, a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. What we have here are the fruits of our labours, of which I'm very, very excited to taste. Even if these are going to taste awful, I'm still very excited. Now we've got 3 groups here, each representing a grouping of the different gases these have been roasted in. However, I don't know which grouping is which. We had enough of the helium roasts to do sort of 1 bowl of each. So for the helium grouping, wherever it is, there's 3 different roasts. For the kind of control roast, there's 3 bowls of the same coffee. And for the nitrogen roast, where we got a couple of good roasts, then there's 2 bowls, but I don't really know how they're mixed up. I will taste these blind, see what's going on, and then we'll talk about sort of what tastes like what at the end. Anyway, I'm going to put some hot water on these, give a little taste, and see what's happening. These have cooled enough for me to taste, which I do so with excitement and trepidation. You'll get 1 slurp per grouping. There's a sort of weird absence of sweetness and a strange acidity that's less enjoyable than the acidity in these ones here for me. This one tastes about the most normal of them. I don't know if that's good or bad yet. These are definitely weird, and I'm not sure good, which makes me think it's the helium. It's also a bit more bitter, and I feel like on a technical level, this roast did not work out that well. There'll be some unevenness issue. Oh, much better in comparison. It's hard because they're still a little bit warmer than I'd want. This is the cleanest, sweetest of the grouping. This isn't by no means bad. This is bad. I think this is bad. I don't know what this is, but this is bad. This is not bad. This is better. What will it mean when we discover what they are? Let's start with the reveal. This says Helium 1. So this is the helium grouping, as we suspected. Technically quite flawed. I think helium probably works pretty well as a gas for thermal transfer, but because it can't tumble and move the coffee, you end up with very uneven roast. And really, I think that's the primary defect that we're tasting here, is unevenness. It's got a little harshness. It's not fully sort of developed.
That is terrible.
We did cut open each of the coffee beans to have a look inside. I'll show you a macro picture of each one side by side. I'm not sure there's that much to be learned from looking at the inside of them. All of them went brown to a very similar color. And I will say my best guess as to sort of end temperature on the Ikawa profile for helium was surprisingly close to what it should have been. You know, the probe is not reading the coffee temperature in those things. It's reading the temperature in the roasting chamber. And so there will always be a differential between that probe's temperature and the bean temperature. Dropping that temperature down, but knowing there was better thermal transfer meant that, you know, the bean was going to be closer in temperature to the probe. I guess it worked out. It's not a good roast, though. It's not a good roast. This will be interesting, though, what this one is. Nitrogen in the middle here. That is not surprising necessarily. So we just check you are control. You are control. Good. I mean, obviously, what else would it be? Going back to taste these again, there's not a lot in it, but there is just something lighter, brighter, more complex in this. By having 20% oxygen, you know, the amount of oxygen in the air, here in this roast, it seems to have done something positive. This one here had literally none, like below 0.1% oxygen. It was as close to zero as you practically can be. That's their job, to get rid of all the oxygen when you're using these things. Based on this singular tasting, which is not a good thing to make a large decision based on, but here, I'm not seeing anything compelling saying removing oxygen improves roasting chemistry in any meaningful way. I mean, removing, you know, all sensible gases turns out to be not a sensible thing whatsoever, but you know, good old air, in fact, not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. And that, I think, is good to know. That's reassuring for many of us. But, you know, the classics maybe work the best. In addition, I didn't really understand that helium is a non-renewable resource. And so it's probably tremendously good news that it's terrible for roasting coffee, because we shouldn't be using it for that. It's useful for many things. Let's just say coffee, not one of them. But I'm glad we found out. I'm glad we learned a thing that was interesting. I'm glad we did some science and tried something completely new, even if it was, for about 10 minutes, completely terrifying at the time. But now I want to hear from you down in the comments below. We've roasted in air, we've roasted in helium, we've roasted in oil. What else? What other media are out there that we could roast coffee in? I don't feel like we should give up at this point. We've had one failure, we had one success. What's left out there? Throw me your ideas. I'm always curious to try something else. And did you enjoy this? Did you learn something? Was it unusual for you? It certainly was unusual for me. But for now, I'll say thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.